My name is Ken Gordon. I am the editor of jbooks.com, which is a website about Jewish literature. I'm also a writer when I'm not doing that, but not tonight. Tonight we face the facts of literary life, and we do so with a big fat get-lit smile. We're going to show how great writing connects the generations tonight. Lador, Vador, and all that kind of good stuff. Tonight, we've gathered here 4 extremely talented writers. Jonathan Wilson, Tova Mervis, John Pipernick, and Adam Wilson.
I think what I've always loved most about reading is that experience of being both nowhere and everywhere, of being inside a place that is your own and is at the same time not your own. And so after surviving this summer of required reading, I went on to discover that sometimes being required to read things does enable you to find unexpected pleasures in certain books. And so I began thinking about a book that was this for me in high school, and I started thinking about The Scarlet Letter, which I wrote sort of the obligatory book report on.
I'm scared to cross every new threshold, scared to open every new door. I thought that was very fresh and bold and exciting at the time, of course, cliche filled. But I must endure a real sense of self-importance from this narrator who really was not likable. There wasn't much to like about this character in the first place. Quietly and anonymously. In the end, I will get just reward. Now, I remember writing this line. I felt at the time it was such poetry. It was so great. 6 feet of mud, maggots, and melancholy peace. Now, that is probably one of the worst lines I could have ever imagined writing. It's alliteration, it's silly, it's pretentious. A freedom for all time. So again, everything is writ large here with capital letters. It's like I'm standing on top of a building and screaming into a megaphone, trying to be noticed. And again, I think that comes a lot from this kind of desire of not matching up with the actual talent. I am time, I am destiny, I am your shattered hopes. You know, I don't even know what to say about that. It certainly is pretentious. Trying very hard. My corpse will litter the road to the apocalypse. I don't even know if I need to comment. I'll just read it. Letting heavens crush down hard and compact us to the stagnant earth.
We're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to have Jonathan Wilson and Adam Wilson come up here, and we're going to play a game of 20 questions with them. Adam, when you were a teen, your dad gave you Playboy. Actually, this is for Jonathan. What was the thinking behind the Playboy? I understand the Philip Roth, but
I think it was Hustler. No,
Hustler, ladies and gentlemen.
No, it wasn't. First of all, I don't remember doing this, but I'm sure I did. And the thinking behind it was that Adam had asked for one. So it wasn't like I said, it wasn't like I forced it on him. It's like he said, I'm going to can I have a Playboy? And I said yes. It didn't seem to me, and I believe that, you know, outside of the sort of Puritan precincts of North America, that is not a very big deal. You know, I mean, if you think of kids, let's say, on the beach in France every summer, from the age of 4 up, I mean, what would a Playboy be to them? Nothing, you know. It's like, so I had no objections to this, and you know, you may think I'm a very bad dad for doing it, but I don't think Adam did. So, you know, I have no regrets.
do you have any interesting stories about people approaching you who've actually read your books, your neighbors, or anyone actually from you? Was there some reception or any interesting stories you could tell about what it's like to be an author amongst lots of doctors and lawyers?
I think one of the strangest things is the surprise with which people greet the notion that Adam is a writer as well. No one in Newton thinks it's weird if they are a lawyer and their kid becomes a lawyer, or they are a doctor and their kid becomes a doctor. They think that's perfectly normal. But if you're a writer, they somehow seem to think your kid should become a lawyer or a doctor. You know, like, oh, he's a writer. You know, it's like, how did that happen? That is so peculiar. You know.
Okay, how about these books over here? Can you tell us about your dad's favorite and your least favorite book of your dad's?
Mine?
Yeah.
My favorite is actually not on there, which is
Sorry.
Shum. That's the one I like the most. I think he was great when he was young. And since then, hit a good start. That one is actually my favorite. That one I've never read. That one I've read a little of.
When you're in.
This one I've read, and yeah, there's actually a. I think we spoke once about this. There's a character in one of the stories in Endnotes on the Way who bears some resemblance to me, and I myself was a little thought that the character may have been a little flat, that he was very one-dimensional, and I was glad that the character in the story got laid, but other than that,
Never. But do you ever have self-doubt? I can't speak for anyone here. I wouldn't presume to speak for anyone else's self-doubt, but certainly. I feel like so much of the writing process is being in a state of uncertainty. And even though it's not always pleasant being in that mode, I think it actually helps writing sometimes. I think that over-certainty and overconfidence sometimes creates blind spots, and there's somehow that middle ground space where you're able to write and able to create with a certain degree of trust in what you're doing, and yet I feel like I never want to shed that voice that goes over a book and over a sentence and worries every sentence. And Laurie, you probably see me do it at Starbucks across the street for hours. We're like back and forth. Is this sentence good or is it terrible? Is it good? And I think that's just part of the writing process. I think the faulty idea of writing is that it just comes out. That people who are writers just write sentences that roll off without that really sweating the sentences. I think that's what good writing ultimately really is. Anyone else want to speak to their self-doubt?
Yeah. Same question. I have plenty of self-doubt. I think nothing abnormal about that amongst writers, but I think I've got bigger doubt in the world at large, the potential readers, that people are actually going to pick it up and read it. It seems so hard these days to keep hearing these doom and gloom stories about how people aren't reading, and it's true. I mean, half my friends haven't even read my work. So I have bigger doubts, I think, in everyone else, and just normal amount of doubts about my work.
Thanks so much to all of our authors here, and thanks to all of you for coming.